All right, guys. Today is Thursday, and that means that we are having a date with you. Okay. You guys know that I like to call it a date because that's how much emotions I get when I talk to you. Okay, I feel like we're in a date. Okay, this is a love relationship. So, guys, whoever has connected, and I know that most of you watching these streams offline. Okay, when we finish, when I stopped taking your questions. So make sure if you watch it afterwards, once we offline and we finish all the material, make sure you ask me questions. All right, because if I don't see questions online and I don't see questions offline. And there is no way in the world that I explain everything so well that you guys just, like, wow, it's all so good. There's no way. Okay. So if I don't see the questions, that means for me that you guys are not interested. Okay. That whatever I have to say is not something that you want to know. So if that's the case, let me know what you want to know, because I kind of don't want to waste my time on discussing the topics that are not of interest to you. And definitely, it's I'm to the I want to bring the value. And if I don't see the value, then I don't want to waste my time. Okay, so make sure you ask me questions on while you're watching online. That's the best, because that gives me more material to work with. And make sure you comment on the when you watch it offline, because I can get the sense of what is of interest to you, and also your feedback on what I have to say. So today is the stream that will be related to alternative methods of business immigration in 2023 and 2024. And let me tell you that you will be surprised how many other viable options exist out there for business immigration using alternative methods, alternative approaches to tackle this issue. Okay, and we usually talk with you about the L1 and E2 visa and EB-5 visa, and maybe sometimes we talk about EB-1C visa, but those are not the only options. Okay, those are not the only options, because we have O-1 visa and EB-2 national interest waiver visa, which we get constant approvals in the field of business. All right, and I bet most, if not all of you, did know about that. All right, you were looking, okay, E2 visa, I need to invest $100,000. Oh my God, L1 visa, I have to have a business outside of the US with more than 15 employees in that business. Oh my God, EB-5 visa is like $1 million investment. I don't have all that, but I'm a businessman or I'm a businesswoman. Okay, and if that's the case, this stream is for you. Okay, so alternative ways to come to the States through business. Okay, your business in your country, the future business, your startup, your technology, and let's talk about this. We're going to talk about this today. So, but before we begin, let's talk about the recent approvals that we have in the company. We got a few approvals. First of all, EB-1A visa in the category of art. That's the clothes designer, our client from Azerbaijan. What's interesting about this case is that we filed her case back in 2022. I believe it was August. So it was about a year ago, and she did not use the expedited processing, so premium processing. Okay, and you guys know with the premium processing, it's 15 days when your petition is approved, And with no expedited processing, that could be up to 2 years. So in her case, she got an approval for about a year with no RFE. I cannot say it was the strongest case I've seen on a close designer, but there you go. With a good approach, with a good strategy, with a good team who leads the case, everything is possible. The second approval is also EB-1A. That's the history teacher from Kazakhstan. She works in the university, and she has a very heavy emphasis on the academic work. She had a bunch of publications. She had a dissertation. She had a few books. She had a few conferences. She was on editorial boards of different journals. So it was very strong, solid case for EB-1A. She also actually filed with no expedited processing, which I do not recommend. I think expedited processing is the best because from my experience, that's when you get the best results. Yes, it's a little different. Of course, the most important is the petition itself. Okay, the strong petition is what gets you approved. But I do believe that with the expedited processing, we can get a better result, a few percent, but those few percent can play a big role. Okay, so she got an approval, which is really good. We got another approval in the EB-1A category for a fisherman, guys. I forgot the word in English. A fishman. Okay, person who is in the sport of fishing, and there we go. Sometimes you guys ask me what are the craziest cases got approved, and I always give you the fresh examples. There you go. Sport and in fishing got approval with no RFE, with no request, with the expedited processing, which is really good. We got an approval for O-1 visa from our client from Russia. He is a business in IT, so he's a businessman who's in IT. And by the way, that's an example of a first step in the business immigration through O-1 visa. Okay, and we had a few more approvals, but let's start diving in this material because I do believe this is very important. So, most of you who are in business, you guys already have most likely 2 criteria satisfied, and you probably don't even know about it. Okay. And we need 3. So the minimum that we need to satisfy is 3 criteria out of the 8, and O-1 is 8 criteria possible, maximum, but 3 is enough. So most of you have 2. Number 1 is your critical or essential role in a company with a good reputation, with distinguished reputation. It could be your own company, or it could be the company you worked before. All right, and a lot of you had experience working for other companies, and then you switch to your own business, to some startups, maybe pushing some technology, some IT projects. So most of the time, those companies have a good reputation. What is a good reputation of the company? Well, they have awards, they have some recognition, they have good clients, press writes about them. We can get recommendation letters from the clients, from the vendors. So all these factors show that the company may have a distinguished reputation. Also, sponsoring or organizing events is also a good sign for a company to show the good reputation. And definitely a role in it. You did something that played an important role in that company to show that the company basically made more money, or saved the money, which translates into making more money, or made more money. So the measure of your critical or essential role in that company is money. Okay, either you saved the money or you did something that made more money for the company. So that's criterion number 1. And criterion number 2 is your income. You're a businessman or a businesswoman, so you make money in your company, in the other company, through the salary or through the consulting agreements and things like that. So, and usually your income is higher than people in a similar position. And we look at this not as a business person position, but a particular place in the company. So for example, CFO, CTO, CEO, you could be a general manager, you could be a commercial director, whatever that is, okay? Depending on your function, if it's a critical role, you did something within the company that made it more successful, or it could be an essential role where you actually direct and control the company or a part of the company, all right? So most of you have already those two criteria satisfied, and this is a great start, okay? You can also start working on your academic or scientific articles or expert opinions, which are good for O1, no good for EB-1A, just coming from experience, and also press about you and your projects. And some of you already have some press. Some already have some projects that described in the mass media or professional media to that extent. And maybe some of you in the past, when you were going to school, already have some publications, some scientific academic publications. So if you have those, it could be already 4 criteria for this visa, okay? And if you don't, if you work with the PR agencies, that's kind of easy to achieve. And again, they just find the journalists that will be interested in writing about you, or they find the scientific in the scientific world, you find the journals that also would be interested to publish your research, your experience, and things like that. Okay, and they help you to structure all that. So there is a lot of assistance in that respect. What else? Some of you speak at the conferences, okay? Maybe some of you write books. Maybe some of you participate in competitions, in the hackathons, maybe, or they ask you to be a juror in a hackathon or business competition, maybe startup competition, maybe business plan competition, or maybe some kind of annual awards in your country. So if you get those, you really start getting to the area of EB-1A. All right, so O1 is already kind of a slam dunk for you when we start getting those awards and judging and maybe books, conferences. That's already, you jumped over O1 visa and you're approaching EB-1 territory. Okay, so we're not going to talk more about EB-1A, more about O1, because this is the first step for a lot of you. And you'll be asking me, Stanislav, yes, everything is great. Everything you say, I agree with. But O1 requires an employer in the US. And I do not have an employer. Well, there is a solution for that too. Your own company can become your own employer. Okay? Let me repeat that. Your own company, a new, fresh company, a startup company, can become your employer. Okay? So basically, you register the company in the US, and that's easy. I can do this for you. You can do it somewhere else. And you need to have a corporate paperwork like bylaws, if it's a corporation, or an operating agreement that separates you as an owner and as an employee. The easiest way to do this, to accomplish this idea, is to have some kind of board on that in that company. And they don't have to be Americans, they could be people from your country. So a board of 3 people that have the power to hire and fire people. So basically that way we separate the conflict of interest of you being an owner and you being an employee of the company, okay? And we can also help you out with the corporate work to put that in the papers so that all looks nice, good, and professional. So, if you have your own, let's say, LLC in Florida, let's say Juan Carlos Florida LLC, I just made it up, okay? And you have the operating agreement that says, hey, we have advisory board in the company of consisting of Juan Carlos and Fernando and Andres, okay? And they decide who's going to be working in the company and who will not. All right, so that would be enough to create the separate entity, an employer in your case. And with the criteria that I just mentioned, your income, your critical essential role, press about you, your publications, and maybe something else, okay? Maybe professional associations, maybe you have some prizes and awards in the competitions, maybe you were called as a judge for such a competition. One of those would be enough. I like O-1 visa with 5 criteria. Rarely we do with the 4. I've never done O-1 with 3 criteria, okay? 5, I think that's the balanced approach. So if we have that, this is like a slam dunk approval for your O-1 visa. And that allows you to come to the States, to bring your family, and start working in the company that serves you as an employer. Okay? And O-1 visa is given to you for 3 years. All right? So you have 3 years time to either grow your business and show the national importance of what you do, of your project, of your endeavor, and switch to EB-2 NIW, or start getting more recognition for your business achievements in the US and then switch to EB-1A. Okay, those are two most viable options, switching from O-1 visa to the green card, basically. Yes, there are also EB-2 and EB-3, classic work visas. When you go through the PERM certification, labor certification, Department of Labor, but you have to have a different employer, different company somewhere in the States that is not connected to you. So your company cannot become your employer for the purpose of EB-2 or EB-3. And, but that is possible to accomplish because you are in the States. So you talk to people, you meet people with businesses, and Lord knows, maybe some of them will help you with the green card. Okay, so because you're in the States, you have all the doors open. So this is a really good recipe for a lot of you to come here and start working here and make a first step towards your green card. Number 2, EB-2 NIW. And that also, and I know you guys watch my videos, and a lot of time I talk more about STEM, the engineers, the IT people, the architects, and like high professionals, good professionals. And that's true. EB-2 NIW is mostly for this kind of people, but it doesn't mean that we cannot get approval for EB-2 NIW if you're a businessman. And what are the components must be present, what those components are that must be present in your petition to get approval for EB-2 NIW. And usually it's one out of the 2. Number 1, you bring some technology or some solution to the US. Okay? And it could be anything. It could be IT solutions, it could be cloud services, it could be agricultural solutions, maybe some fertilizer, maybe you bring some services, some consulting. It could be anything. That's in the national importance of the US, okay? One of the risky cases where I got approval for my client in EB-2 NIW for in a business category was that the client brought the fertilizer for the crops in the US that would increase the yield by 30%. Okay, so yes, it's the business, but the solution behind the business is the increase in the food production. And guys, food production is definitely a national importance. Okay, absolutely, there is no question about it. It was a really good case, and I like that approval, and that's category business. All right, so you bring some solution. Like I said, technology, innovation, solutions, it could be anywhere. It could be for the manufacturers, it could be for the agriculture, it could be for IT, it could be for business, anything. All right, something that's gonna make things better, increase something, optimize something, modernize something, whatever. It could be your invention, it could be your patent, anything. Okay, so do not disqualify EB-2 NIW if you are in business, because we get things approved in that category. And number two, any type of business, anything, doesn't really matter if it's a solution or whatever, if you can get 15 jobs created in the US. And very important thing, you do not have to apply when you already have all 15 people working for your project, in your franchise, whatever the structure is. You could show that you started a business. You have 3, 4, 5 people working for that business, and you start scaling, opening new spots, opening new locations, maybe franchising your business. And we have cases like that. We have a case with the flower shops, where we had already one shop in Los Angeles of our client who hired about 4 or 5 people in the shop, and she already started signing the lease agreements in Miami and I believe New York, like 2 other locations, and she had some other requests for franchising her business. Okay, so that was enough to show the national interest, because she was creating the jobs. All right, so job creation is in the national interest of the US. Okay, so you guys have to keep those 2 options in mind. I mean, options for EB-2 and NIW, with creating the jobs and bringing some solutions to the US, and also an option of O-1. All right, because that's a little bit easier to get, and all the doors are open for you. All right, so let's look at the questions. Jesus. Hello, I would like to know more about creation subsidized company of my corporation of Canada in the US. Jesus, the way I see your question is you're probably aiming at L1 visa. And definitely that's still a viable option, and especially if you're from Canada, because US government is more lenient towards the Canadians. Like basically, definitely we have no denials of E2 and L1 visa from Canada, and we had quite a bunch of, a few dozens for sure, a few dozens of cases from Canada on business immigration. So L1 visa is great, especially if you plan to hire at least 5 people at the end of year 1 of your operations, and opening a subsidized company of your corporation in the US, it's not a problem. Okay, all you need to do is register your company in the state where you're going to be operating your business, and make sure that you own at least 51% of that company. So by law, those 2 companies, one in the US and one in Canada, will be affiliated. Okay, so you could make it one company owns the other. You can make just them affiliated through ownership and the control of both companies. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so the exact corporate structure does not matter, as long as we can show the same control of both companies. All right, and usually it still comes down to a person. So if you own both of them, there is no problem. Hoang Gwen, I want to study acting at a studio in California. I don't have any achievements domestically or internationally. Can apply for an O-1B visa. Well, if I take if I take it for granted, Hoang, that you said that you have no achievements, well, then the answer is no, because O-1B visa is all about your achievements. Okay, I do believe that among all visas for talent, like O-1A, O-1B, EB-1A, EB-2 NIW, which is also a talent visa, O-1B is the easiest. Okay, that's the easiest visa. I mean, it's still not easy in general, but comparing to others, that's the one that I have less difficulties approving. Okay, so why? Because one of the criteria in O-1B is the recommendation letters. Basically, recommendation letters can completely satisfy one full criterion, and that's awesome. That's awesome. One criterion is a lot. Okay, to start. Of course, there's more. Also, press about you, which is also easy to satisfy, is 2 criteria. And the payment, your salary in the past or proposed salary in the future can satisfy 3 criteria of the bet. Okay, and if you have also some participation and some acting, maybe theaters, maybe you went to other cities to act and to play maybe in a role in some acting on the stage, or maybe you have some awards. There we go, O-1B. But you gotta have an employer. Gotta have an employer. Ademola. I'm presently based in Nigeria. How can I start a business in the US and process the business visa? Step by step, please. For someone who is not currently in the US, can I do it from outside US? Ademola, absolutely. Absolutely. I would tell you that definitely being in the US will make things easier process-wise, because you can come, you can open your business account, you can find an office or the location for your business, you can look at it with your own eyes and talk to people. Definitely that makes things easier, but from my experience, about 30, maybe up to 40% of approvals that we get on L1, on E2 visa, and I mean business visas, because for talent visas, I mean 80% we get approvals of the people that never been to the States. Okay, 80% of the petitions people from outside of the States. But for business visas, yes, it's a little different proportion, but it's possible. It's definitely possible because everything that needs to be done for the purpose of L1 or E2 visa can be done remotely. You can open up a company, you can get EIN for the company. Yes, it's going to be harder to open up a bank account, but it's possible. We have partners who help our clients to open up a business checking account remotely. Yes, they charge $3,000, but that's the price you pay. That's the price you pay. You can find the office for your company. You can rent it without even coming to the States. You can write a business plan for your future idea. You can transfer the money to the bank. You can spend the money. So I don't see serious obstacles in starting your business being outside of the US and filing the visa to get an approval. Yes, it's gonna take some time. Yes, it's gonna be a little bit more stressful and more costly, probably, but it's all doable. Okay, Ademola, it's all doable. So you asked me step by step. I kind of gave you step-by-step instruction, right? You open up the company, you get EIN, the number from IRS. You open up a banking account, you transfer the money, you start doing the business plan, you rent an office, and then you file for your petition for E2 or L1, okay? So you also have to consider O-1 visa, the one I was describing a couple of minutes ago, because O-1 could also be in the business, and we don't have to have all these spendings that we will have for classic business visas. Let's put it this way. And the classic business visa is L1 and E2. Okay. Maybe EB-5, EB-1C, they're a little bit higher with more spending, but yeah, O-1 could substitute L1 or E2. Ademola, follow up. Secondly, is there any pathway for pastors and ministers of religion? Yes. I wouldn't make a business out of it, obviously. Okay, that would be interesting though, right? Like. Opening up a church for E2 visa. I would love to take this project. I think it's good. Yes, but jokes aside, and again, it's not really a joke, because a church could be a viable business, but there are R1 visa and EB-4 visa specifically for people of religion. Okay, people of religion. R1. Requires an employer, okay? EB-4, I'm not specializing on them, but I do believe it also requires an employer, someone who wants to see you working for them, a church, a mosque, temple, whatever that is. But definitely, if you want to start research on that issue, start with R1 visa and EB-4. You'll find a lot of information. Gabriela, can you tell what are the expenses for O-1 visa for entrepreneurs? Definitely, Gabriela, this is a good question. So if you guys are entrepreneurs, startuppers, business people who want to come to the US and open up your own company, start working in that company, and then start paving the way for your green card. Okay, to your green card. The expenses you should start bearing is, and let me give you the whole cost. To scare you first, but then I'm going to break it down. Okay, so such a case, you're probably looking at somewhere around $20,000, and out of this $20,000, $11,000 is you're gonna pay my company to lead your case and to help you out with all the documents. You're gonna pay about $3,000 for government fee, including expedited processing. You will probably pay around $1,000, maybe $2,000 for translations, because a bunch of the paperwork has to be translated. If you're an English speaker or your country has English as a second or a primary language official, then no expenses for translation. And you have to get about $3,000 expenses for the company and the corporate work, and maybe a few $1,000 for the PR. Okay, so if you add all this, that's going to be around $20,000, and that's going to be the ultimate cost of your O-1 visa if you're a business person. Okay, and definitely it's not cheap. Definitely it's not cheap, but I always look at this as an investment. Okay, because you invest basically in your future, and if ultimately, probably when you get the green card going through this way, you know, that investment is going to pay off largely. Okay, very good question. Guys, I'm dropping you off the links where you can, first of all, contact my corporation and schedule either the complex immigration planning or get a free evaluation of your cases. And you have the EB-2 NIW link. You need to click on it, fill out the form, and I will get back to you with a free analysis, a free initial qualification of your case. Make sure you do that. And I will also drop you a link for talent visas, with most target at O-1 visa, because that's for you usually the way to start your immigration process to the US. Make sure you fill out both the EB-2 NIW and a talent visa, the O-1 EB-1A, so I could look at both forms and see a bigger picture about where you stand with your immigration process. All right, guys, let me take a couple of more questions from you and we'll wrap this up. I hope some of you went to the webinar yesterday where I was actually delivering the presentation on L1, E2, EB-1C and EB-5 visas, the classic business and investment visas. If you have not, you missed a lot. It was a really good webinar, really good feedback from people who were present. Make sure you follow me on YouTube and Instagram, where we announce the future webinars in English with English presentations. And no one does it better than I do, guys. And no one explains it better, especially when we have a webinar, when we have a presentation, and we go deep in each visa. You guys super active, asking questions, and we're just having a good time. Okay, we're just having a good time. And that's what happened yesterday, and that's what will happen maybe in another month. All right, so please keep tracking and what's going on with the announcement in the company. Gabriela, follow-up question. And what about additional investment into some kind of US-based business? Well, Gabriela, this is an excellent question, because if we are talking about O-1 visa in the format that I'm describing, when we get the about 5 criteria satisfied, we open up our company in the US, which is a fresh company. It's not operational yet. And you own the company. We do not have to show that we made any additional investment. And that's the beauty of O-1 visa, guys, because if you start doing L1 visa or E2 visa, you have to show investment, okay? E2 is 100K, $100,000 plus. L1, yes, it does not require it by law. It's not required by law to show the investment, but your SAS always ask about it. All right. So I've never seen L1 visas approved with less than $60,000, $80,000 on the business checking account. Okay. Why? Well, because you have to support your business plan. You have to fund your business idea. O-1 visa for business people does not require showing of the investment. Okay. And that's why it's an alternative way for you guys to quickly come to the States, because to prepare O-1 case, all we need is 5 months to get all the paperwork from you, 1 month for me to draft on a memorandum, and then we file it, you get approved. And guys, my rate of approval for O-1 is 98%. If I tell you, Jesus or Huang or Gabriela, I'm gonna take up your case, I see the potential in O-1 in your O-1 petition. That basically means, I translate it to you, you are going to have 98 chance of approval. Okay? That's it. So with all this, all this information, you guys have to use it wisely, because O-1 is the best alternative, and alternative that people don't know about. That's why I'm making these streams for you, to bring you this value. So you know, I already have 2 criteria. I have critical role, I have a good salary. So all I need to do is to write some articles, and PR agencies can help you with that. Get some press about myself and my achievements. PR agency is going to help you about that. And maybe get like some judging the work of others, maybe professional association, maybe you already have some contribution in the field. I don't know. I need to analyze your case more closely. So 5 criteria is much closer than you think. Okay, 5 criteria for O-1, and we need only 3, but I like 5 because it makes the case stronger. Your employer is your own company. 8 months, you guys here. Okay, if you start working, at least with me, with my company, I don't know other companies, with my team, today, in 8 months, you're going to be here in the States with your family, and you will be able to work. Okay, so that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line of today's stream. All right, guys, I'll take 1, maybe 2 more questions from you regarding today's material. I'll give you about 30 seconds, so you could think about what I've said, and maybe write a question. If there are no questions, we're going to wrap it up. So I'll just give you a few seconds. Okay, good, guys. We just got a fresh approval. By the way, I was looking at the corporate chat. We got an approval for EB-2 NIW, by the way, in the category of business. So I'm going to tell you more about this case next stream, so I could be prepared to give you more materials. So good news, a bunch of fresh approvals in our company, again proving how strong we can file your cases. Okay, Gabriela, go. I was already thinking about my lunch, but okay, let's go. Let's go. One more question, guys. Focus. Gabriela always has good questions. So let's give her a chance to give us a good question. Should go for it, Gabriela. Okay, Gabriela. It's a long question that Gabriela wants to ask. So I'm gonna write like the whole book. Okay, here it is. I've been searching through the internet looking for attorneys for business immigration. Okay, I guess that's it's a good start. Gabriela, good start. Let's go to the essence. Let's go to the core of the question. Okay, I see what you're driving at. So I've seen attorneys who do it without a team. I guess the question is something along those lines. What's the difference between attorney who is who I wanted to say who wrote a book because I was looking at my book, guys. If you guys didn't know, I know it's in Russian, but it's about immigration. We're gonna have the English copy of the book sometime in the future. But I do believe this is the best. This is the best book in the market, on the market about the immigration, because the style, because how I structure it. So I was looking at it. I was like, who wrote the book? No. What's the difference between an attorney who has a team and who does not have a team? Okay, what's the difference, guys? There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference because there is a lot of work in the process which does not have to be done by the attorney. Okay, like collecting the paperwork from you. That's what my team does. My team was on the first 3 levels of reviewing your paperwork. Okay, you have a paralegal, you have a supervisor, and you have a person from the strategy department. Okay, strategy department is a separate entity within my company that it's on the 3rd level of reviewing and checking your documents. And only after all your papers went through these 3 steps of reviewing your paperwork, I get your final document and I want to approve it. Okay, if I see something's wrong, I send it back. Whoever is responsible, I don't care. I need the final product. Okay, so it goes back either to the 3rd level, to the 2nd level, to the 1st level, or even back to you sometimes. Okay, but once I approve your document, that's set in stone. That's solid. That has all the requirements that I have for the paperwork. And imagine if I was doing it all by myself. First of all, the chance of mistake is much higher because 4 people versus 1 person. And second of all, the quality of such paperwork, because if attorney does it all by himself, he doesn't have a lot of time. Okay, so if he has a bunch of cases, the quality is gonna go down. So Gabriela, I know what you were asking. That this is a really good question. Okay, one more question, guys. One more question. Ademola, how can I get started with O1 processing, O1 visa? Ademola, with my company, it's super easy. First of all, you gotta have a free evaluation. Okay, guys, remember these 2 words: free, no charge, no money. Evaluation. I need to first see, Ademola, what you have, and even if it makes any sense for you and for me, for my company, to pick up your case. Okay. How you get the free evaluation? Very easy. Look at the chat. I dropped the link to talent visa with the triangle, orange and white triangle, orange square, white triangle. Okay, the play sign, the play symbol, EB-2 NIW link and talent visa link. You click on that link, you'll get a form. Yes, it's going to be a lot of questions, but I'm gonna give you basically a free consultation. Something that other attorneys they call a consultation, and they want like $400 from you. Okay, so I'm going to look at this for free, but you gotta spend some time on it. All right. So and once I see your answers, and I'm like, okay, Ademola has a very good potential for O-1. Then Ademola, I'm going to invite you to the complex immigration planning, CIP. Okay, KIP. The short is KIP. So what is KIP? KIP is 2 phases. First of all, you meet with a data manager for an hour. She's going to take all the information from you, all deep and good information, all the questions that I need. She's going to compile a protocol for me. And for the second phase, you're going to meet with me, just like this, through the Zoom. And I'm going to already make a final qualification of your case and build up a written strategy of how we are going to file your case. And you get that written strategy after we finish. So you have a big report on your situation. For O1, for EB-1A, for EB-2 NIW, if it makes sense, maybe for L1, whatever fits best for you in priority, okay? And you will have a grade of your case, A, B, C, D, where A is the strongest, D is no case, and you will know what exactly you will need to do additionally to what you have. So that's the ultimate report on your case. Guys, no one is doing this in the immigration field. No one, no attorney, no law firm, no one. Only we're doing this, okay? So make sure you use our services wisely. One more question. Fugitive. I hope Fugitive 1205 is is not a real name, okay? Because we don't want no fugitives, okay? we want people with no criminal record. If someone applies today for E2 visa by fugitive, it's not the proper way to say it. Adjustment of AOS is adjustment of status. You don't apply for E2 through AOS. You apply by changing of status. So COS is the proper term. How long will it take from today to EB-1A to get a green card? Sorry, I'm a dentist. Just stole 2 minutes to ask the question. Fugitive. So you're running from the justice and you're with the dentist office. Okay, a good one. It was a good one. I like it. So fugitive. Probably you either did not phrase your question properly, or you don't understand the depth of what you want to ask. Because if you're trying to ask me how long is it going to take to adjust your status from E2 to EB-1A, provided that you have a case, right? Because, well, you can file, you can apply, but if there is no EB-1A, you're just going to get denied, right? But assuming that you are on E2 visa, and you are in the US already working through your company, and you have a petition for EB-1A, prepared petition, and you want to file it and get a green card in the US, well, that's going to take you from the time of filing till the time you get your green card up to 6 months, probably even less, 2 to 4 months, okay? If you're asking your question is that you are on E2 visa in the US and you don't yet have the case for EB-1A, but you want to build your case, that, depending on your situation, could take from the time of starting building your case till the time you can get a green card, maybe a year and a half, depending on your situation, okay? Make sure, fugitive, you fill out the free evaluation form, okay? Because you asked me one question, I have 10 questions back to you because there's so many hypotheses I can see, so many options I can analyze, and that's not enough information. So make sure you fill out and do both. Do talent visa, do EB-2 and NIW. I'll look at them and see what your situation. Ademola, Thank you for recognition. Thank you for good words, guys. I always like when you give me a feedback on my work because, you know, as any person, not only being an attorney, I'm a person. And of course, when you compliment or when you give a good criticism, okay? For me, a compliment, a good feedback, as well as a negative feedback, but constructive criticism, they're equal for me, okay? Yes, I like compliments more, but I'm open to good negative feedback with the constructive. So if you guys think that, you know, I can do something better, let me know, okay? If you think the format is wrong, let me know which format you want to use, and so on, okay? I'm always open to improve. That's the way we work in a company. We always try to improve the processes, the templates, the examples, we're trying to be creative, we use the technology. So that's how we operate, okay? All right, guys, that's it. I thought it would be short. I thought 20 minutes would be enough, but you guys did a great job asking good questions. And that's how I like it, guys. That's how I like it, when you ask me good questions and you keep me busy. You keep me busy answering your questions. Keep up. You guys did a great work today. So I wish you a great end of the week and a great weekend. I'm Stanislav Shamayev, a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.